Well, hello everyone. I'm Harvette Dixon. I'm a resident here at Passavant, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here with Lena Kissinger. Thank you, Lena, for being willing to share your story with us as part of our Celebrating Aging series.
Quite welcome.
So shall we start at the beginning? Okay, where were you born?
I was born into Philadelphia during the raging snowstorm.
Oh.
February 10th, 1930. And I grew up in Philadelphia.
And how big a family? Do you have other siblings?
Well, they're all gone. I'm the only one left in my immediate family. But my mother had 6 children. 2 died. One during the Spanish influenza, and the other, that's a strange story. She had to have a gallbladder operation, and in those days, it was really something.
Yeah, it was invasive. Mm-hmm.
Here, when they opened her up, they found out she was pregnant. And so the baby was born, but from what I hear, the baby didn't live a year. Baby died. So that left us with 4, and I'm the youngest of 4.
Well, that's terrible tragedy. I'm sure it was very difficult on your parents.
Yes.
Yeah, as the youngest, you probably don't remember it.
Well, I probably wasn't even born.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, what advantages are there to being the youngest?
Well, my father doted on me. He spoiled me, and I have very fond memories of growing up with my father.
Mm-hmm.
He loved to garden, and he had a great big plot up over the railroad tracks. And he would plant everything and anything. He had corn, he had cabbage, my favorite were the tomatoes. Loved tomatoes. And I can still see myself toddling after him. He'd be in front, I'd be in back, and I would see a ripe tomato and I would pluck it off and start to eat it right there. And I could see him looking over his shoulder, just smiling.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I have real good memories of that.
So how would you contrast your mother and your father?
She was the strict disciplinarian. What she said goes. So I did everything she told me to do except when I rebelled.
Except when you rebelled. And when did you rebel?
When I figured I'd had enough, because you can't do this and you can't do that, you can't do the other thing. And so in grammar school, there were a group of friends, kids, and every once in a while they would go to somebody's house, and we called it up the manor because they were in better circumstances than we were below the tracks. But, and they would say, well, we're going over to such and such a house this afternoon to play on the playground. And this is after school. Mm-hmm. And my mother always said, you come right home after school. That's when I rebelled. I went with the kids. This was around 5 o'clock when we finally finished up, and I come to the top of we lived on a hill, and I could see my mother standing out front, and I thought, I know what's coming. Didn't matter, was worth it.
Oh, That's great. It was worth it. That's neat. Well, how did the parenting between your mom and your dad, how did that influence your parenting?
I always grew up thinking my mother was right. And so I was not a really good mother to my oldest children. I thought that you had to be a disciplinarian like that. And I felt so bad later in life when I realized what I had done to them. They were the two oldest, and the two youngest I finally wised up. And so they had it a lot easier. And I often thought whether I made my oldest son into an introvert by being that way. And I don't know, I just felt bad about it.
Well, I can't imagine you're being a bad mother, but it seems to me that the oldest always gets the brunt of it. That's when the parents are just trying to figure it out, right?
I guess. Well, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, at 20 years old, what do you know about being a mother? Nothing. They don't come with a pamphlet.
Don't you wish they did? Oh, my goodness.
But you're right. He's the pathfinder. He was the path. As long as I saw that he had learned everything without my help, that the others would be okay.
You also mentioned your oldest sister and your relationship with her.
She was 11 years older than I was. I loved her. She was so good to me. Like I say, my mother wasn't much for giving things that you wanted. So she would be out working by the time I was, little grown up. And I'd say to her, Ann, I need a pair of ice skates. Everybody else has ice skates. Sure enough, she'd go out and buy the ice skates. There you go. Or I would be standing outside the movie house at a matinee in the afternoon, and she'd come strutting down the street. I guess she was going out on a date. And I'd say to her, Ann, buy me a sundae in the drugstore. And she'd say, no, I bought you one last time and you didn't eat it. Well, I'm going to eat it this time, I promise. I would take one bite and say, I'm full. But she did the same thing week after week.
So it sounded like you knew how to work that relationship.
She was so gullible.
But loving, right?
Oh, loving, yes.
Yeah.
She gave me all the love that I didn't get from my mom.
Yeah. Big sister. So what was school like?
I liked school. I loved school. I couldn't wait for it to open after the summer. Other kids would be complaining, and I'd say, oh, I can't wait to come back to school. And we had a group of friends in school, too. And I took the commercial course because I knew that I'd have to go to work right after I graduated high school. And then I also had a group of friends that we were hung out together, so to speak. They're all gone, too. I'm the only one left. I don't know why.
And we're happy we're here. You're here. So what did you do for fun then in high school?
Oh, we went, in the wintertime, we went sled riding. On Friday nights, too, there was a canteen. They called it a canteen. It was in a recreation room. We had a recreation center. And they would have Friday night dances. And they would play the 50s songs, the 40 songs. And in the summertime, in the wintertime, we also went ice skating. At night, there was a big lake at the bottom of our street that would freeze over, and it was all lit up at night so that a gang of us would get together and go ice skating. We'd form one of those lines, those snake lines, you know. And if you were at the back, you were in trouble.
You got whipped around.
Ooh.
Huh?
Yeah. You know, in the summertime, when you're kids and you live in a row house like that, there's always a bunch of kids outside. And you play games like ride rover for green to come over. So we had fun.
Well, tell us about the beach.
Oh, we lived near New Jersey, naturally, and they had the New Jersey beach there. And also in high school, a group of girls would get together and pool our money and take the bus to Wildwood. And we would rent one room for all of us. I think the room had 2 double beds, but some of us had to sleep on the floor. We didn't mind. And we had great fun on the beach. Yeah. Even when we got married and had families of our own, every June, the last 2 weeks in June, before the rents went up, we went down for 2 weeks. And the kids, when you're an adult and you have children on the beach, you're kind of, you know, they're in the water, but don't go out too far. And if they do, then you jump up. But we had fun. We rented bicycles in the morning and rode our bikes along the boardwalk. And then at night, we strolled the boardwalk. And we got our homemade waffles and ice cream.
Oh. Sounds like wonderful memories. So, how about shopping?
Shopping? Well, let's see. Naturally, being in Philadelphia, we had the downtown area. And you took the train to get downtown from where we lived. And there was Market Street and Walnut Street and Gimbel's and John Wanamaker's and Frank and Cedar. Can't remember them all. But when my sister would take me when I was smaller, she was a great shopper. All she wanted to do was look at things, okay? The minute we got off the train, I'd say to her, I want a hot dog. And she'd say to me, in a minute. And we'd go into a store, and she'd be looking around and go out of that store and go into another store, and she'd be looking around. I said, are you going to buy that? And she'd say to me, I'm just looking. I said, well, let's go. She wouldn't get me the hot dog till she was finished shopping.
So you were more interested in the food than the shopping.
That's all
huh?
I wanted. There's something about a hot dog out of one of those push carts, you know what I mean?
They taste extra special, huh?
And when you're at a ball game, you have to have a hot dog.
Okay.
When I was pregnant with my first child, we went to a doubleheader to see the Phillies play. I ate 6 hot dogs.
Oh, we're going to put you in that contest, that man that just ate 80 hot dogs or something. I don't know how many minutes.
I don't know where I put them all.
I know, you're so petite.
But they stayed down. Oh,
That was
my.
fun times. Well, you were kind of a pioneer ahead of your time as far as your career and professional life was concerned. So, tell us about your professional life.
Well, my bookkeeping teacher thought I was okay, pretty good, okay? And Mr. LePan, I still remember his name, and he said to me, close to graduation, he said, I think I got you a job. Would you be interested? And I said, sure. And he said, well, it's Anastasia Brothers Corporation, and they're up in Mount Airy part of Philadelphia. You'll probably have to take 3 trolleys to get there. I said, that's okay. I don't mind. And so he got me that job, and as a bookkeeper. And I was a bookkeeper for 38 years.
Wow. That's amazing. 38 years as a bookkeeper. You know, you're definitely a pioneer at your time. So,
Well, it suited me very well because I was very particular about everything. It had to be in the right place at the right time, and so it was me.
it was you. It fit.
It fit.
Right? Well, being a bookkeeper for 38 years, you saw a lot of changes in that field.
Yes, I did. When we started, of course, everything was done manually. You entered journals manually and ledgers, but then there was a transition over time, and the computers kind of took over. And of course, I didn't know anything about computers, so I had to learn. And I more or less kind of taught myself because I had a boss who wasn't interested in teaching me. So I finally stuck it out, and I think that's why my one attribute is sticking it out. Because my boss used to say, give me the hardest projects to do. And I say, why are you always giving me the hard ones? Because you're like a bulldog. Once you stick your teeth into something, you don't let go.
It sounds like that quality served you very well.
I guess.
Yes. So tell me about how you met your husband.
Well, we were in high school, 10th grade. And in those days, before classes, what you used to do was walk the halls before you went to homeroom.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd pass each other, and every once in a while he'd give me the eye, and I'd give him one right back. And after a while, he said to me, you want to go steady? I said, sure. We were married when we were 19. We had a baby when I was 20.
Didn't waste any time, huh?
No, because you didn't know anything. That's why. You learned quick after that.
So what did Tom do?
He started out as a barber out of the when he got out of the Army. He went to barber school on the GI Bill.
Mm-hmm.
And he became a barber, and then he worked for a barber up in Flowertown, which is outside of Philadelphia. And Pat the Barber was his name, and he was so good at doing what he had to do that he said to Pat, how about if we become partners? And Pat had nothing, no way. So Tom said, well, I'm going to open up a barber shop right up the street, because what's her name came to me and asked me if I would do that. And so he opened up the barber shop, and pretty soon he took 90% of Pat's business away from him. And not long after that, Pat had a heart attack and he died, and Tom felt bad because he thought maybe it was his fault. I said, well, you gave him a choice.
Right. You gave him an opportunity.
Yeah. But he was very outgoing, Tom was. And talk about a pioneer. In those days, nobody else had a television set in their barber shop. And so he mounted one up on, he was very popular.
I can't imagine what he would think about the TVs that we have today.
I can't either.
I mean, that really was unbelievable that at that time he mounted a TV in his barber shop.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he was an entrepreneur. He was always thinking.
Yes, he definitely was an entrepreneur. So, so did he stay a barber?
No. He was having trouble with his legs at the time, standing all the time. And so his cousin, who was a boss with the Norcross Greeting Company, offered him a job as a salesman. And so he took the job, and he liked it very much, and he did really well. And so they decided to transfer him from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, and that's why I'm here.
So
And then he became a district manager.
So it sounded like he was very successful in that business as well.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. So what kind of change was that for you?
Difficult. I never realized it would be so different from one end of the state to the other. The language is altogether different. Words like gum bands, what's a gum band? You know, the thing that stretches. Oh, you mean a rubber band? Okay. Yeah. At the time, I was working in the office, and somebody would ask me for a gum band. I don't know what a gum band is. What was the other thing? Oh, I'm going home to rent up my house. What are you going to do? You know, rent it up. You mean straighten up your house? Things like that. And my husband always used to say to his clients when they said, yuns, how many people are you talking about?
So it was a whole different vocabulary.
Well, they made fun of the way I talk, too.
Oh, they did?
You have an accent. What's wrong with you?
Takes one to know one, huh? And what did Pittsburghers call Philadelphia?
Philly. That just grated on my nerves.
And why is that?
We never called it Philly. The only Phillies we had were the baseball team. We called it Philadelphia, the name. Oh, well.
Yeah. So that would have been a very big adjustment. So
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But
So-
you adjust.
Yeah, you have to, right? And like you say, you're like a bulldog. You get your teeth into something, right?
Right.
So tell us about your family. Your family life, your children, and
Well, we had 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. Thomas became a pharmacist. He went to the Philadelphia College of Pharmacy and Science. And being an introvert, he took the night turns all the time. He didn't want to get in any battles. Mark was, he went to Pitt, and he got his master's at Pitt in hospital administration. And he got a job with Genesis Medical Associates and became the CEO of all of the centers that they had. Yeah.
Yeah. So who is close to you?
Diane, my daughter.
Your daughter.
Yes.
Okay.
It was a very hard adjustment for Diane and my youngest good daughter. Diane was a teenager when we moved, and she was like an outcast. Gateway High School at that time was very snobbish, and they wouldn't let her enter the future teachers club or anything.
Huh.
And so she wasn't interested in going to college. So she went to work, and then she got married, and she had 2 daughters of her own. And then her husband walked out on them when the kids were only 2 and 3 years old, couldn't take the responsibility. That was a hard time.
Yeah. Sounds like a very, very hard
Yeah.
time. Very hard time. So, also, I understand that you lost your husband at an early age, too.
He was only 52 when he had a massive coronary. Yeah. That was a hard time, too.
Another big transition for you.
I had to go back to work. And we managed to survive.
So, where did you go to work then?
I went to work in a place called St. Peter's Child Development Center. We serviced children from birth through 5 with developmental delays, like autism and Down syndrome, those kinds of things. And when they were finished in the program, then the school district had to take care of them in special education.
So you were a bookkeeper, but it sounds like it was in a very rewarding organization.
Yes, it was. I would pitch in every now and then when they were short of staff. So I got to know all the kids really well. Yeah.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
We had a beautiful child. He was autistic and nonverbal, blonde hair and blue eyes. And I learned that they were the most susceptible to autism.
Really?
Blonde hair and blue eyes. His name was Eric. And I used to help out his mother and take him to the center with me. And every time I'd pull up and he would get in the car, he'd come over and he'd pat me on the cheek.
Yeah,
Tell me he liked me.
that's a special relationship for sure.
He was sweet. I often wonder what happened to him.
Yeah, you lose track of them after they get older and go to the
Well, they're in school.
main
They
school
grow
system.
up. I don't know whatever happened to him. I hope it was something good.
So tell us about your grandchildren and great-grandchildren, right?
Yeah, my two daughters. I had 6 grandchildren. I had, let's see, it was Judy, Jenny, Ryan. I think only Ryan was the boy. Let's see. Who else is there? There were 6 of them, I know.
Wow, you have 6 grandchildren. How many great-grandchildren do you have?
I have 2
2 great-grandchildren.
great-grandchildren.
And
yeah.
you just have a new arrival, right? Brazil? Is that?
Oh, a great-great-granddaughter.
Yeah,
Yes. She lives
yeah.
in Louisiana.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have 6 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren, and now a great-great-grandchild.
Yes.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah.
Roselle is a very interesting name. Where did they get the name Roselle?
I have no idea where they got that name, and I feel sorry for that child when she goes to school. Raz.
Raz. Oh, you think they're going to abbreviate it?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, well, what brought you to Passivant?
Well, I was having trouble keeping up the cottage, and doctor told me that my spine had deteriorated to the point where it was pressing on the sciatic nerve, so I was in a great deal of pain. And I went through PT and all that business, and I said to my daughter, I'm going to move to Passivant. It'll be easier for all of us, because she was at the point where she was coming up every single day. Mm-hmm. I said, this is ridiculous. You have a life of your own, you have family, 2 grandchildren. And so she said to me, I hope you're not doing this just for me. And I said, well, what if I am? What are you going to do about it? And now I think she's a lot happier that she doesn't have to be at my beck and call. Mm-hmm. And she can take trips with her husband and with her children and she's got her own life. Mm-hmm. She didn't have to give it to me.
No, well, that's definitely a gift that you gave her. So, which of your children helped you find Passivant?
Actually, Mark was the one who started it all. When he and his wife and they decided to retire to Florida. I was still at the cottage at the time. And he said that he was moving there. And I said, oh, so you're abandoning me? Okay. So he had taken me around to St. Barnabas, Sherwood Oaks, all these places. And I said, I'm not going to look at any other place, Mark. He said, well, Mom, there's one more place that I want you to look at, and it's up in Zelienople. It's called Passivant. So I said, okay. So we drove up, and the thing that I really liked about the whole place was the feel of a neighborhood. Like it wasn't just one big high rise, and I wanted to be on the first floor, to have a front door and a back door. I said, okay, this is it.
And so how long has it been?
19 years I lived in the cottage. Mm-hmm. And I've lived here it was a year in September 1st.
In New Haven Court.
Yes.
Yeah. So your 20th year anniversary.
Right.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is wonderful. So I understand you developed some special friendships while you were here during those 20 years, 19 years in particular at the cottage on Hankey Court, right?
Yes, on Hackey Drive.
Hankey Drive.
I had a lovely lady who lived across the street from me, Rosemary, her name was. And we were very good friends. And she's no longer with us either. I don't know why I'm still here. And she was having health problems too, so at the time I still had a car, so I would take her to the appointments and things like that, and then we would just sit around and talk and carry on.
Well, I understand you were a ringleader, though, for the group.
I formed this group every Tuesday night, ladies, we called ourselves. Every Tuesday night we had a standing reservation at Barron's Inn. And we would go for dinner every Tuesday night, and we really had a ball. We'd carry on and be kind of loud. We would get people who went by and would say, "You're having way too much fun here. I want to join this group." And then we'd have other people who gave us a lot of dirty looks. But yeah, we had a lot of fun, and there were 9 of us to begin with, and there's only 4 of us left.
So, well, it sounds really special. And I understand you're making other friendships at New Haven Court now.
New Haven.
Yeah, New Haven. I keep calling it court, don't I?
No, it's not. There is a court, but I
not
wasn't
New
living
Haven.
up there.
So what do you enjoy doing here at Passavant?
Well, I like the yoga class. Every Monday I go to yoga class.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And like I say, on the rest of the week, I go to Get Fit with Sam. Exercise. And what else?
You're an avid reader, I understand. You like to read.
Oh, yes, definitely. I always have a book. I love the library at New Haven.
Who's your favorite author?
Mary Higgins Clark.
The queen of suspense novels. Huh? Yeah. Have you gotten her latest book?
I don't know if the latest or not, but the problem I have now is that our books don't come in the large print.
Oh, okay.
So I have trouble reading her books.
Okay. Well, you'll
So
have to contact her to fix that.
What?
You have to contact her to fix that as a fan, as a major fan.
Right. Right. But anyway, I don't even know if she's still alive.
No? Well, from what I understand, her latest book is It Had to Be You. It's about a murder mystery about 2 twins who killed their parents.
Oh my, I didn't read that one.
So she's alive for that one anyway. So, you've gone through some significant transitions in your life. You moved to Pittsburgh from Philadelphia. Your husband passed away really early. And your move to Passavant. What advice would you give to others about how to make these major transitions in your life?
Bite the bullet and forge ahead.
Bite the bullet and forge ahead. That sounds like excellent advice. Well, before we end our session today, I have a little surprise for you. I said there would be no surprises, but hopefully this is a good one. Okay. You mentioned that when you moved to Pittsburgh, we talked funny, or you didn't quite say it that way.
Got the book?
I found this book called The Three Little Pigs Burgers. The Three Little Pigs Burgers. It's a take on the Three Little Pigs fairy tale, all written in Pittsburghese. So,
love it.
yeah, you can read this to your granddaughter. Hopefully the print is pretty big, not too bad.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And guess what? At the end of the book, there's a dictionary of Pittsburgh terms. So you can teach your granddaughter about the Pittsburghese and the Pittsburgh.
Oh, that is funny.
Okay. So this is special for you to say thank you for being such a good sport and talking with us today.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's been my pleasure and honor.
Oh, your hands are cold.
I know, but warm heart.
That's what they say.
That's what they say. It's been an honor to get to know you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear.
Well.